Hey, and welcome to the Heartbreakers podcast with your hosts, Elsa Jean and James Maas. Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. So excited to have you here. And
it's my podcast with you, so I don't know what you're acting like I'm like a guest or something on it.
Usually it was gonna just be James, but then you actually said you can put your whole name in it.
I know. That's what you said. You're like, no, I don't even want to put my name. I was like, no, we're doing it together.
Because I don't want to be embarrassed if it's bad.
I don't want to be embarrassed if it's bad, but I do a lot of embarrassing things, so it really doesn't matter. I can't think of anything truly embarrassing that I've done, and I know I've done embarrassing things, but I can't think of like one thing where I was like, that was so fucking embarrassing.
Yeah, but if you own it and just be like, you can flip the script on whoever.
Can you think of an embarrassing thing?
That you did or I did?
Either.
I mean, I can think that if I had, no, because I think you have such kahunas, like you're able to like make something your own and just be like, no, yeah, whatever. Like if someone's whatever about it, it means you don't really care what people think. And that in itself like negates the bad thing, because it's like, well, I mean, I wish I could have done that and not cared. So it doesn't really matter what you do as long as you own it. It's like, it's your life.
I don't know. I can't really think of something that was like, I think I know one thing that I did. Should I share?
Yes, share, please.
But we always talk about this one thing. I don't know why when we're together, we always talk about farting. And the other day, I don't fart in front of significant others. I've never farted in front of a boyfriend ever before. And I was sleeping and my boyfriend was up and
I saw
watching
this tweet.
TV. Yes.
Yeah.
And out of all the people to do this in front of, he can't stand when someone farts. And I was like, I'll never fart in front of you, so you don't have to worry about that. And I'm sleeping and I fart so hard that I wake myself up. And I look at
Fart
him
yourself
and
awake.
which everyone's done. Let's not act like you haven't done that before. But I look at him and I was like, no. And then he laughed at me. It was so cruel the way he laughed at me.
Because it's not that big of a deal. And as long as you're not going around going, smell it, and putting his head under the covers and holding down the sheets.
I don't know, man. It was so upsetting for me. I actually went upstairs and put myself to bed by myself.
I would have, you go sit in the naughty corner. You know what you did. You know what? I have a story for that then to counter you. So there was this guy, I thought he was really cute. I was like, he was way out of my league, but for some reason he wanted to, I was like doing enough of like playing the game that it was like, yeah, sure. So I went up and spent the weekend with him. And then I was looking at him really sexy laying in the bed. And like, I was just trying way too hard the whole time. And like, that's why eventually he was like, get out of here.
This?
No, well, I was, but I was doing a good job because I'd been working out like sick, like so good. I had the best body at the time. I was starving. Anyway, so I lean over so I started eating again like a regular person when I was with him for like sustenance. And then it upset my stomach. And then so I leaned across to, like, first of all, I looked at him like, row, 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 row. And I like leaned over to go kiss him, and I leaned over and went, I'm serious. It was like he burst out laughing. I was like, oh no.
You just lost control.
I mean, it sounds like you in the bed not knowing when to like clench your cheeks while you're asleep. But honestly,
I never knew I had to clench my cheeks when I was sleeping. It's a new fear.
Okay, so now whenever we text each other, like randomly, he always puts the fart boy emoji after the little.
That's mean. That is so mean.
It's kind of funny because he was like, you were all like, row, 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 like leaning in, and then went.
That's so embarrassing.
I know. The timing of that was worse than farting myself awake. Although I actually have never farted myself awake.
I do all the time, but maybe it's because I'm so scared that the person's going to hear me fart.
Well, it sounds like you've been holding your farts in all day.
All day.
Trying to be perfect. And then it doesn't work out because that's got to go somewhere. It's human.
Whatever. It is what it is.
So we have a bunch of questions today. Episode 2, very excited.
We are excited. We're yet again together, and we wanted to do a few
I literally flew down here to see you because we're like, let's keep doing this in person while we're rocking like the hanging out vibes, because it is just like a fly on the wall hanging out. I was watching our last episode where you're like, it's going to look like shit and we'll be proud. And I showed that to a friend and they were like, I would watch that because it's so like you're sitting with your friends in a room rather than watching the Drew Barrymore show or like one of those really staged things where it's like, I love that. That is so funny.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I agree. I think it should be inviting and
yeah.
comfortable and all of that.
Yep.
Because 'Cause we're talking about stuff that could be a little bit uncomfortable for people, so why not make it an environment where people can view as they're also sitting in their
Yeah.
room? This is actually my bedroom that we're doing this in,
Well, we're doing
and
it amateur, like, basically,
amateur,
because
nice specialty,
we
amateur.
want people to feel like they're just having a look in and we don't know they're here. Although we are very aware that you're here.
Yes.
All right, so let's start. The first one is, how do I tell my boyfriend his breath smells bad without hurting him? How would you go about that?
Oh, I say just you have to tell them. You have to just be like,
Brush
"Hey,
your
babe,
teeth.
your breath stinks." I think when it comes to hygiene, I think you need to be honest, and I think that you need to just be to the point and say it. It matters what tone and what words you say. Like you can't say your fucking breath stinks. It makes me want to throw up.
Yeah,
But I think when
but
it comes to hygiene,
mhm.
hey babe, I'm sorry, but this actually happened to me. I dated a
It can
dentist
be
whose breath smelled all the time. And I was like, tell me how weird that is to be with someone who is supposed to specialize in good breath.
there's no excuse
And
for
and
that
I had
because
to be
you're
like,
bad for business,
I had to be
literally.
like, brush your teeth.
Oh my god. Do you know what? Like, it's definitely it could be like an oral abscess or
It
anything
can,
like that
for
too. So, like,
sure.
getting that shit checked out, you don't wanna get, like, a bone. Ugh. Anyway,
How do people not know their breath stink?
because 'cause they're so used to it. You know how you get desensitized to smells if you're in the room long
That's true.
enough?
That's true.
Yes, we
I
all know
say
that.
when it comes to hygiene, straight to the
I'd
point.
want someone to tell me because I don't wanna
Of
be doing that.
course.
I actually was dating a guy once, and my friend just met him. He's really nice, very smart, and, like, age appropriate, great. And my friend goes, "Oh, he's lovely. Does his breath smell?" Like, that was her
It's a
first,
real
like
thing, and
yeah.
everyone complains about bad breath and bad hygiene, so it's kind of a little bit odd when people still struggle with it, but a lot of people are nose blind, so I think all it takes is for someone to say, "Hey," like or you could keep toothbrushes in the shower. Some people are not taught to brush their teeth twice a day.
And there just has to be that deal breaker thing, like, you just can't have bad hygiene. I mean, that's just
You
unfair to the
can't.
other person.
You can't. You
Even putting them in
have
the
to.
situation where they have to tell you.
Oh, yeah, see, it's so
Get on
awkward.
that, yeah.
It's so awkward.
All right, number 2. What can I do if I don't like my girlfriend's new surgery? She had rhinoplasty. She got a nose job a couple of weeks ago. Now that she doesn't have her bandages, I don't like how it looks at all. I like the way that it was. I don't want her to feel bad, and I don't wanna ruin anything.
That's a difficult one. I think when it comes to being in a relationship with someone, you have to be very careful about how you discuss the way they look. I think that it's very important that when you, I mean, this is something that's a little bit unusual. Most people don't change their face when they're in a relationship. You know what I mean? Like,
I
I
feel
guess a
like
lot of people really do if you
yeah.
think about it. I mean, I've had surgeries within a relationship and that's an awkward one.
But
I
it's
say
not
don't
really for
say
him. Yeah, don't say
it's n
anything.
that's what I was gonna say,
She did it for her, obviously, or at least to look better. And like, if the nose is going to be a deal breaker for you, what's the point of telling her you can't change the nose now, or possibly if you did change it, make it look even worse?
I think when someone goes and gets a surgery, they're already insecure about something. So, especially if she's had this
Yeah,
surgery and she's happy about the surgery, it's
yeah,
not your place to say that you don't like it.
yeah,
And if it bothers you that much that you don't want to be with someone over their nose job, then you shouldn't be with that person because what if they got into an accident and their face got completely destroyed or something like that? You're going to tell me that you don't want to be with that person
yeah.
because of it?
No, yeah, you can't say
I
it.
say that when
No,
it comes to looks, you have to be very careful on what you say
yeah,
because you're really supposed to be with someone no
yeah.
matter how they look and
I
how
mean,
they
it's not
change
like they're
into
Jocelyn Wildensteining, that lady that like turned into a cat. I mean, I think you could probably say something if someone was getting so many surgeries that you couldn't recognize them, and you're like, "Is there a bigger problem here
right,
that you need to
and
address?"
maybe some therapy or something like that,
Yeah,
like, I'm actually am
but
worried for
don't
you.
comment on people's
I
like
say
look.
that's no, I say that if it bothers you that much, then maybe there's other things that are bothering
Yeah,
you about that person because you
yeah,
can't tell me that a nose job is gonna make you not wanna be with them.
true, true. Okay, so my girlfriend wanted an open relationship, so I broke up with her. Now she wants to get back together, but I still don't want an open relationship. Should I be open about that and give an ultimatum and move on?
So they were in an open relationship at
No,
the
she asked for it, so he dumped her, and now it's been a while and she wants him back, but he's gotta be like, "I still don't want the open relationship." I mean,
Then you
that's
need to be clear and draw
yeah.
those lines and put those boundaries up where it's I'm
Maybe
not
she wants to come back now though, and he's, like, a little bit worried that, like, well, she
she
wanted that before, she just hasn't found anyone for a while, so now she's coming
that
back to
or maybe
he could cheat.
she tried other people and she was like, "Man, this is not what I thought it was gonna be."
That's true, a deeper conversation about what happened out there in the world when she was being open or if it worked for her.
I think it depends if he's
Yeah.
really stern on not wanting an open relationship,
Yeah.
then when she comes back, he still has to say, I haven't changed my mind about that." But maybe she's changed her mind and maybe he could be a little bit forgiving on the fact that she wanted to venture out with other people.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I
Interesting.
mean, a lot of people want
I
to sleep with other people.
I think more yeah, well, that's true, but I think more context, if we were to know that she was, like, went out there, she might still have that in her, though, that she's gonna then come back and then do the same old thing, and then he's wasted another year with this chick that ultimately does not wanna be monogamous, and he wants to be monogamous.
You know what I think is really interesting these days is that men want to be monogamous over women. Haven't you noticed that? I talk about it
Do
very
they?
frequently with my boyfriend, how we scroll on Instagram and we see like people talking about a lot of different stuff on podcasts and whatnot. And it's always men complaining about how they're being
I
treated
did not know
and
that.
how women are almost like men mentally these days. And it's really true. Men didn't I don't think men realized how much monogamy mattered until women really started to be like, "Oh, I don't wanna do it either," and
Maybe we
now it's
hear about
flipped.
it more because, like, women are getting more empowered, and they're, like, getting so men are little
So
whingy
now they're like,
complainers.
"Oh, man, I thought that that was cool to have a girl that
Yeah.
doesn't want any strings
Yeah.
attached and she could just go be with anyone and I could go be with anyone," and I think when it comes down to it, people really do want
Yeah.
monogamy, and now men are starting to struggle. I
Yeah.
really see that.
Interesting. Alright, the next one is this one was how can I go about asking a girl if I can shit on her tits? Did I read that one to you? How can I
No.
go about asking a girl if I can shit on her tits?
That is I'm not answering that. We can keep that in here, but, like, that's too
We're not
crazy.
helping you out.
I don't
Sorry,
know what to say to
I
that.
thought we were open.
We are very open, and I'm not judging for that question.
Don't ask, just do.
I support everything
Just do.
sexually that's legal.
I don't think it's illegal to shit on your tits.
It's not illegal.
Yeah.
So I support everything that is legal, but I don't know. I can't help you with that. That's not a category that I'm,
Elsa Jean,
specialize in.
let's put
I
the
don't
in.
specialize in that, sorry.
My wife cheated on me with one of my best friends. Should I stay? My wife cheated on me with one of my best friends. She's been remorseful after I found this out. Other affairs came to light as well. Again, she's been remorseful. I've tried for 3 years to get over it, but I can't. We have two mentally handicapped children as well. Should I stay for the sake of my children? My heart is broken and I don't know what to do to move forward. What should I do?
That is a very tough and sad
'Cause
question.
she's remorseful, and looking after 2 handicapped children must be a
A lot
lot.
of work, right? And I think that that would probably I don't know because I don't have children, but I think children in general cause a strain on relationships, so I can't imagine having children that are struggling. But also at the same time, that's not okay. It doesn't matter what goes on in a marriage. You need to discuss things before you need them. Like if I'm lacking something, I need to start talking about it before my mind even goes to cheating. And how about the best friend for doing that? Why would
Yes.
the best friend knowing
That's a
that
double
you're
whammy. I mean, you've
so now that person's losing their best friend and their wife, I'm sure they're actually almost going through a grieving period right now.
and since he found out other affairs came to light as well, so this is not like a one-time thing. So to stay and
Honestly,
be miserable or not miserable, she's remorseful, but she's a cheater. I think the biggest component is the children, and usually I would say, well, the children aren't gonna be better off by you staying together,
but
but
they're handicapped.
it's just something that, like, no one can look after a handicapped child as well as their parent. In
Man,
saying
that's
that,
a
don't you wanna
tough
be happy,
one.
though, for your child, though? And
Of
co-parenting might
course.
be
Well, how are you supposed to parent if you're not mentally stable in a relationship. I think that that causes a lot of issues when it comes to parenting. Again, I don't know, but I see people who are not in stable relationships staying for the children, and it does affect. I know my parents stayed for just a few years, but I felt it and saw it, and I think that it really did affect me still to this day as an adult. So I think couples therapy, and that's when it really could help.
Yeah, I am of a mind to say that too. I feel like there's just no good scenario staying in a relationship that you're unhappy in because it's going to trickle down. And while it's adds that extra ups the ante with having mentally handicapped children. I feel like no one's going to benefit if you're in the gutter
No.
yourself.
No, you need to for
Yeah,
children to live in a healthy and happy home and lifestyle, you as a parent need to be happy and healthy.
yeah,
So whatever you can do to get yourself to that point is what you need to do.
yeah. Oh, good luck to you.
Yes.
Okay,
Heartbreaking.
our next one is I've never come from penetration and I'm okay with that. I told my boyfriend this is when we first started dating, so there would be no surprise. We've been together 10 months and over the last few I've noticed he's become distant and we weren't as physical as before. I brought it up to him and he told me he sees sex as pointless since I don't orgasm. Are there any suggestions what I should do to get over this hump?
Is this a guy or a girl writing this?
Female.
So technically, when it comes to coming during penetration, you actually are still coming through your clit. So the way the clit is set up, it's the clit, and then there's two. I don't know if they're glands or what they would be called on the side. So when you're being penetrated, it's actually rubbing the sides of your clit. So you're actually still coming through the clit. It's actually very rare to come through penetration. And the logic I actually researched a lot about this is actually why do some people come through penetration at all, because it's actually not supposed to
Why do
happen,
they?
because it's rubbing within,
Oh,
and some people just the way they are made, it's actually easier for them, but it's very, very rare. It's actually
right.
supposed to technically only be through
You're
the clit.
lucky those
So those
people.
people are really lucky, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't be so hard
It's
on
not the
yourself.
norm, right?
It's not the norm, so I would be careful being so hard on yourself through from that because it's not really supposed to be happening or it's not normal. So it actually is down to your partner to
Mhm.
stimulate your clit
Right.
from the top or from where it's supposed to be stimulated.
Ah.
So
So she's not what?
so it's actually I wouldn't rely too much on your partner to make you come through penetration. I would either rub yourself, use a toy, or rely on oral.
So he shouldn't take it so seriously.
He should not take it so
Mm.
seriously because it's almost
Get over
next
it
to
and leave her
it's
alone.
almost
She's
next to
actually
nothing for her
yeah.
to come through penetration.
I feel like they could get some tips from this next question, actually. How do I spice up my solo sex life? I'm female, usually use my fingers or even a handle of a flashlight to masturbate. Care to help a girl out? What are some tips to make my solo sexy time more fun?
A Hitachi,
What's a Hitachi?
they're like a vibrating thing where it's like the
Is that
handle and
like
then
the
it's just
claw?
it's not
Like
a
it has it
claw.
looks like that?
No,
Ah.
it's like a handle. I wish I had one right here, but I don't. But
Oh my god, that's
a
for another
handle.
episode. Let
I
me pull
know,
out what are
right?
Elsa's toys, and it's like, okay, sorry. Yeah.
A handle, and then it's like kinda like a ball at the end, and it just
Uh-huh.
vibrates, you just hold it. I say that that's probably the number 1 sex toy for a female is a Hitachi, but also at the same time, you can get addicted to those because they are I'm telling you within seconds, you're done.
Seconds?
Seconds.
So what is women
Seconds.
doing out there going, I've never orgasmed or
I don't
blah,
think
blah,
that
blah.
we're taught to
Yeah,
masturbate. I think that
exactly.
masturbation is taught to be something shameful and
Right.
something that you shouldn't be doing from when we're young, and when you become an adult, you still don't teach yourself how to make yourself come. I think that there
The
actually
shame
be
in the masturbation thing. We should do a whole episode on
I think that it's a
masturbation.
real thing. I think that
Yeah.
a lot of people are shamed, and I also think that shaming masturbation can cause people to be
Right.
shamed towards actual sex.
Right. That's right. And we're also ashamed of our bits and just from the whole no nude household, no seeing
Yes.
anyone's private bits. No wonder we can't see you can see a guy's nipple, but you can't see a woman's one on Instagram.
Yeah.
Too much shame. Like it's
To
got a
a
lot to
lot
answer
of
for.
shame, but I would
Parents.
use a Hitachi. I really would.
The next one is I want to have a threesome and I want my girlfriend involved. How would I convince her?
This is such a popular thing with guys, is
Of
convincing their
course.
girlfriends to have threesomes. I feel like I'm gonna get hate for saying this, but I think everyone should have a threesome in a relationship. I think that do it when your relationship is
Solid.
solid. Don't do it
Yeah.
when you guys are lacking anything and have that experience together, whether it's just one time. I think
So the
how to
solid part is really like
and yes.
you've got to be in a certain place to do that.
But I say if you're trying to ask your girlfriend just in general, not necessarily convince her, tell her how much you appreciate her and how you're attracted to her and how this is an experience for that you want with her
Yeah.
together. It's just a person
Yeah.
coming in and
And that
that
you would
person's
never
leaving.
like without that's
Yes, and
why like you would even feel confident enough to bring it up is because you're like, I this is my only shot. I would never do it
yes,
outside of
and
the
also, like, I think couples need to have different sexual experiences, and you could even word it like that. I really wanna have this experience
Yeah.
with you, you and me together.
Yeah.
But clear boundaries when it comes to the sex with the third person.
Right.
Whether it's I know people that don't kiss with the third person. I know
Yeah.
people who don't even have the number or texting. I had
Yeah.
a threesome with one of my friends, and she came to me and she said, "What are the rules?" And it was all 3 of us
So
sitting
don't
there,
text.
and that was my rule. I said, "You guys can't have any communication
Right.
after," and they were like, "Well, duh."
Don't text, don't kiss, don't
For me, in my relationship, the boundary is no communication with the third person,
right.
and that's really it. But I'm also very open, so I think when it comes to threesomes, you really have to if the significant other agrees,
Mhm.
write down or clear boundaries before you even go looking for a third person.
Right. Good. Well, good luck with that one too.
But that's a popular one, men trying to
Yes.
or not trying to, but wanting
I
threesomes.
think your point you made it best, which was like just make sure that your relationship is solid. And
Solid.
if not, then you've got some work to do.
Work on
So
the
like
relationship
get into
first.
therapy, do whatever you need to do to make your relationship the most strong.
Foundation of the
Because if it's coming from a
relationship.
pure intent,
Yeah.
like, and not trying to just sleep around with other people, then
And
you're
it's
probably
a
right.
very, taboo thing still to have threesomes, and men want to try 2 women at once. They this I think it's natural, I think it's normal, especially
All
this
women,
day and
two
age.
men.
Or with 2 men
Mm.
or if it's 3 men or 3 women, I think it's very normal.
Ooh, I love this next question. Okay. I'm wanting to get into sex work, but I don't know where to start. I've been thinking about it for a while and did some serious research and the risks involved. Do you have any advice?
That's a good one. So, I guess I kinda need clarification on what type of sex work, because there's different forms of it. There's porn, there's stripping, there's escorting, there's OnlyFans. I find that very different from porn.
Hmm.
Those are all different types of sex work. So, I'm guessing this person's asking about shooting film,
Hmm.
and my recommendation is and this goes for females and males, is find a good agency, one that can really help you. There are certain agencies that cater to male talent, and there's certain ones that kinda cater to female. They all really cater to female because,
Right.
um, it's mostly females that shoot, but an agency because then they'll put you on the right path. It's, 1, safer because it's all legal then,
Hmm.
and then you're shooting with actual companies because there's a lot of amateur companies that aren't doing it correctly, and
Yeah, I don't.
you don't know the companies, you
Yeah.
don't know the directors, you don't know the talents.
And I'd imagine your agent would give you a bunch of like, they're only gonna submit you for places that have all of the
Yes,
regulations and will look after
exactly.
you. You said you had a great agent earlier on,
I
right?
have a great agent, and
Uh,
I still have the same agent. I don't shoot anymore, but I
mm,
still let them put me up on the thing or,
mm,
like, on their,
mhm.
website, and it's ATMLA. They've never done me wrong, I've only been with them, and they've always been respectful. I'm very thankful for how kind
Right.
and helpful they were towards my
And how would you
career.
get a hold of them? How do you think that people would
So you could actually Google,
agencies?
agencies, porn agencies, and
Mm.
there's LA and Miami ones. I don't think there's any in Vegas, but your main
Get someone that can look after you. Because
gets
doing it yourself, you might not be able to advocate
it's
as
gonna be
well.
too hard. It really
Right.
is because then you can't get good talent too if you're doing it yourself.
Uh-huh.
But the agencies, the ones that you wanna go to are out of LA.
Okay.
There's ATMLA, OC, there's so many. Just you could literally Google agencies, porn agencies.
This kinda goes into our next one nicely. Can I be in a relationship with someone while doing sex work?
I mean, I've tried.
And
I've
how did that
tried.
go for you?
Um, well I was in a relationship with or married to a male performer. It lasted 3 months. We didn't divorce over anything to do with the industry.
I'd
Sh
imagine that's easier if you're with someone that's in the industry as
It
well.
is, for
Right.
sure, when it comes to shooting and when it comes to support
Have you been with a
within.
normie while you've been
Yes,
uh,
for ev that he was the only male talent I was with,
and
and
were
it
they
was only for.
jealous all the time or
Yes, so then shortly after
surely
or
they know what they're getting into though, and then they wanna change the rules later. That's unfair. It's like,
that's what always
so
happens.
you got me in under false pretenses because you don't really want me as I am. You want me to change right away.
I think when it comes to that, you have to be very careful on dating a fan, and it's
Right.
you don't think that, but a lot of people can be fans, and then that means that they might not necessarily know who you are. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, who you are when you go to shoot, you're playing a role, you're playing a character,
Yeah.
and then you come home, and a lot of people are completely different. I think
Yeah.
that's where the problem was for me is shortly after I was with the male talent, I then, was with someone else for almost 2 years, and we struggled when it came down to me
Yeah.
shooting. And
So do you think it's possible to have, like, if someone's not, or it's just, like, hard because of the dynamic between
I think when you go to shoot porn, you all your focus needs to be on shooting and your career because if you're going to do porn, it's so hard to be respected as an adult performer that you can't go in risking someone's ego hurting your career.
Right. Maybe get in, do a couple of years and get out then,
I
and then
yeah, and if
just, like, you don't need that right
I
to
say don't
complicate
let
things.
anyone come in and tell you what you can shoot, how you can shoot, none of it, and it's their egos. It's
Right.
hard, it really is. I wanna say it's actually not possible.
Yep.
I really
No, I
do.
like that solid answer. I mean, it sounds like I like your advice on just, like, doing what you have to do as a job. If you're gonna do that, you need to be so clear with your
And I
intention and your
told
career.
people that I was like, because I wasn't dating when I first got in when I was 18, and I was like, I promised myself I won't let a man tell me what to do or ruin my career because if I let someone destroy my career, then why did I do all of this? Why did
Yeah.
I hurt my family, my friends, all of this? I can't have that over.
How would you tell someone if you're already with them that you wanted to do that? Or, like, if you were gonna, like,
I would. There's a lot of successful couples.
is it just a regular conversation then? It's just
I
like,
think
"This is
so.
what I" yeah.
I think it
Right.
has to be a regular conversation. I think
Yeah.
it might be easier now with OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Maybe start with
Everyone's a sex worker now.
yeah, maybe
Well,
start
they
with
should be.
yeah. I would say maybe start with an OnlyFans and kinda
Yeah.
see how that person feels about it,
Yeah.
and then maybe venture out into, professional.
Cool. Okay, so my butthole itches. What is wrong? I hooked up with a guy a few months ago and he seemed sketchy as fuck. He was the last person I had sex with. Now my butthole is itching. What should I do? Is it herpes? I don't know.
Um,
Do you know? Has your butthole ever itched?
Not like that. Not like that, not to the point where I need to write into somewhere and
And
ask.
I feel like you should probably direct it to your GP.
So that does sound like something's wrong. It sounds like something that he needs to go to a doctor's for if it's that bad,
Yeah.
and that's scary, and I think you need to go to the doctors. I can't answer that for you. I can't. Oh
That is
gosh,
some of
that
these questions are
sounds
getting through. We're gonna have to speak to Stephen about. We are
yeah.
not GPs, and we should not be getting these questions. Okay, I am tired of the same normal positions that my partner and I do. What positions do you do to mix it up?
So, I don't necessarily mix up positions. Is this person talking about they're only strictly doing doggy? Because there's so many different positions. There's
What's your
just as
favorite position?
oh, mine changes.
Really?
I'm a I love missionary.
You love missionary?
I
No, that's good.
do.
That's like a real thing to know about you
I
because
love missionary. I think when I get a guy that's good at
yeah.
missionary, I'm like,
Do you think you have to be kinda made for each other, like, in a body shape kinda way to
I
fit?
agree.
Because, like, some people are gonna be different heights, different sizes,
Yeah.
different fat versus skinny or whatever.
Yeah, like,
Like
it's kind of hard for the guy that I'm with now for us to 69 because I have to really stretch. We don't really do that. But so that's what my point is, like,
We are definitely keeping that in.
you know what I mean? 'Cause
Yes.
I'm
Okay, so do you know what? It might need to go by partner then
by
based on
partner, and also by
and
dick
that Elsa
size.
Jean's favorite sex position is
It is,
missionary. I mean,
it
she's
is.
tried them all.
I've tried them all, but I'm not really into crazy, like, pile driver and stuff like that at home, like,
What's a pile driver?
where you're on your back and then you lift your butt up and you hold it with your arms and
Sounds like a lot of
it's a lot
work.
of work.
I
It's
mean,
not
how
worth
if you're
it.
doing a push-up while you're trying to have sex too, I don't know how anyone's gonna get off.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you're really fit.
Coughed into the mic.
That's fine.
Um, I think you have to be the one if you want different positions, you have to be the one to initiate it, I think. If you're the one craving difference
Yeah.
in a sex life, I think that it goes very far to be the one to initiate. So if he's wanting something that's not what the person's doing, because maybe in their head, they're not thinking. A lot of
Yeah.
people are like, once they're in the moment, it's hard. I know for me, it's hard for me. Like I have all these thoughts throughout the day, like, "Ooh, I can't wait to." And then when I get into it, my mind is just like fuzzy.
Somewhere else. So it's
It's
gotta
not
like what we
somewhere
said in
else,
the
it's in
last
the
episode
moment, and I'm
about
not thinking about all the crazy things that I thought I was gonna do.
oh,
So,
right.
I
Yeah,
think
you
if
have big
you'll
hopes and, like,
and
you
then we just
promise them the
yeah.
world and then ship them an
So
atlas.
I think initiating it. So if you want doggy, say, "I wanna see you bent over." If you want
Right.
missionary, "I wanna see you spread it
I'd be
open."
like, "Leave
If
me
you
alone. Just let
yeah,
me lay here."
exactly. Some people are into
Uh,
that. Some people are yeah.
Oh,
Do I get to
cool.
ask you questions?
You can ask me whatever
I
you
I
want.
this time it was
This is
like,
actually time for today.
oh, are we up on time?
Yeah, it's
Okay, let me just ask you one
I
question.
can't believe you even prepared something for me personally. Oh,
Okay, oh, we were gonna this one's a good one.
okay.
What's better, being the mistress or the wife? And then
Ooh.
this kinda ties into the remember I was reading questions off earlier, and it was something about how the guy was in love with his wife, and he has kids with her, but he's also in love with another girl.
Ooh.
So, what's better, being the mistress or the wife? I've been a mistress, and I've been a wife, and I think that there's just a clear difference, and I think they're equally okay not okay, I think they're equally pleasing. Mistresses get left alone, so it depends on the type of person that you are left alone, right?
Uh-huh.
He's not blowing your phone up, nothing like that because he's with his wife, but then at the
Yeah.
same time, you don't get that home, you don't get the children, maybe, you might get children being a
Maybe
mistress.
they don't want that.
Maybe they don't
Yeah.
want that. And then, that kind of ties into the question where someone's like, "I'm in love with my wife, I love my wife, but I also am in love with another girl." And I was talking to someone about this. I've seen with my own eyes a man being in love with me, also loving their wives, and it does not matter what I say or what I do, that wife will always get picked over me. It doesn't matter how in love the guy is, and I think I understand it now. They
Why?
will not
How?
break their home up. They
Right.
won't. And I think people get confused on that. I really do. That doesn't mean that the person doesn't love you, but I really genuinely believe that the wife is the one that's been there
Like,
through
that structure
everything.
trumps anything that they could possibly
It's
love.
a
It almost like
foundation.
it built something larger or as on
Yes.
par with
The
love.
history's there, the
Yeah.
children's there, the foundation's
Yeah.
there, the trust, the everything is there. But I do believe that you
Interesting.
could be still equally in love with your mistress.
And if it works for you, like, different dynamics for different people.
Yeah. Not saying
Yeah.
any of it's okay, I'm just saying that
Well,
I've
it's
seen
each
it.
to their own.
Yeah.
We are not experts. We have a
Yes.
take. We like to
I
chat.
enjoyed being a mistress.
Yeah.
I really
Well, at a
did.
certain time in your life, that was probably all you needed
I
and
really
wanted, and
did.
then
I
you
really
still
did.
get
I got left alone. I got
yeah.
presents. I wasn't into being with someone every single day. I would see the person
Mm,
maybe once a week. There
mm.
was no fighting because that person all they wanted was to be in a happy place, and I really enjoyed it. Now, I think I enjoy
Being with
not
one
being a
person.
mistress. Yeah,
Right,
and being with
yeah.
one
Being
person
the
and
main
being the main.
piece. Well, probably back when you had a career too, right? Was that
Right.
during
They
it?
can't say anything.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, yeah, and then you also get to focus on your career and just dip in, so you're just as much a part of the whole, like, I'm choosing this. This is my
Yes.
structure. You have your family, I have my career,
You might be
we meet in the
a
middle.
good mistress.
Me?
Yeah, because
Oh.
you like doing your own thing, focusing on your own stuff, not really being bothered.
I have to try it out being a mistress when I get to a certain point because it also becomes a little bit too consuming to me. Even that thought of having someone once a week at the moment for me anyway, just
Yes.
from where I am at in my life right now, it becomes all consuming and I'm thinking about it, planning it that week, or like I'm either not
Oh,
available enough for them. And I just,
even once a week you're not available?
I mean,
You
I
are
don't
too
want, no, but see,
busy.
I can't compartmentalize it like that and just be available that one day a week. I'm scared I'll tip over into then being all in with that
Yeah.
person. But maybe
Hmm,
for a certain time in my life. I think one day though, I might like
I think you'd be
start
good.
becoming a certain age where I want like a toy boy or something like that
Yes.
and being like a little bit more like the like, yeah, you just come to me when I need you. Like, oh hi, I'm my own little mistress.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
I
for
don't
me.
know.
Hopefully I get to a place like that. Because I already have been like married and obsessed and totally. Oh, we're running out of time. Okay, so
So
thank you so much, everybody, for listening. And we have links.
we do. We have exciting stuff coming up, and we're so thankful for you guys to always be listening and staying on top of what I'm promoting and James's new songs that are coming out.
RIP You, Pink Lemonade, my new single. Also, click subscribe, and heartbreakerspodcast.com is up now for you to submit questions, put yourself down for merch, or
Mm-mm.
watch these episodes on YouTube through the site. It is available streaming everywhere. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good
Yes.
stuff.
Guys,
And we
I
will
oh,
keep
sorry,
going.
go on.
No, I'm done. I'm
Okay.
done.
Well, I'm not done. I changed my Twitter username, so I think I need to start really putting that out there because it's getting a little confusing. I was Elsa Jean Triple X. I am no longer Elsa Jean Triple X. I am Elsa Jean is me on Twitter. My Instagram is still Elsa Jean Official. Keep subscribing to this podcast. I love your guys' support. My NFTs. Honestly, the most simple thing you could do is go to my Instagram and click the link in the bio, and you'll
Yes,
find
Linktree,
everything
thank
there.
God for that.
Yes.
You are a bad boss lady and you are
Mhm.
good to your community. I hope they like this. And yeah.
And I just realized I had my surgical bra on the whole time.
Oh my God. Okay, we have to let the girls out next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.